Hello. What is it? Oh. Hi, everyone. I am Rebecca from ChemKnits, and well, my voice is a little bit lower because of allergies, but I am here today to unbox the May 2020 Paradise Fibers Fiber of the Month Club box. This is a mystery subscription box for all the spinners out there and usually contains between 6 to 8 ounces of unspun fiber in a variety of different fiber types. And it is so much fun. Now, for all the disclosures, Paradise Fibers sends me the Fiber of the Month Club for free for me to unbox and share with all of you. And I do have an affiliate link, which I have linked in the video description below. An affiliate link means that I will earn a commission for any sales generated through that link. So that is, I guess, the disclosure there. But all thoughts and opinions are my own, and I have seen no spoilers for this, so I have no idea what's in here this month. I think maybe there's a slight pine scent. I'm not sure. If you want an unscented box, you can get one. Sometimes they have some non-toxic scents in there. And I'm typically sensitive to scents, but a handful of times, maybe only a handful of times, that it's been a little too strong. You can request an unscented box. And I believe international boxes are unscented by default. Oh, you did a video unboxing this too? Yeah, mine just showed up today and I am really excited. No, I don't want a hint. No hints, no hints. But yeah, say this as this right now is a spoiler warning to all of you. Sometimes I get asked to share a spoiler warning. I will be unboxing this and we will be looking through to see what is inside. But before I get to the unboxing, I'm going to wait like a couple more minutes to allow people to join in, since this is a very last minute stream. And gosh, I'm excited. So themes from past months it's really fun. There's a really good combination of natural existing colors from the natural fibers in the boxes to vibrant neons. And there's blends that we've had flax and silk and cashmere and pineapple fiber and rose fiber and so many really, really interesting things. And I'm curious, well, I'm also curious how this one came together, because I know, to keep expectations very realistic, given the pandemic, supply chains are limited. If stores are able to open, they have a much more limited staff. But last month, they still put together a really, really awesome box. So I'm excited to see what we've got this month. And one of the perks of this being live is that way you guys can ask me questions along the way and I'll do my best to answer. I don't think, sometimes Paradise Fibers joins in the chat, and since I didn't, since I didn't announce this stream and like post it on Instagram or anything, I don't think they know that it's happening right now, so I don't think they'll join the chat. But they are very responsive to questions, and so you can just reach out and ask. And I'm gonna grab a water. Because yeah, I am very, I take Claritin every day anyway, but tree pollen, it gets me every year. I'm gonna need to bump it up. Oh, thank you. Yes, so I am in Massachusetts and the weather has been pretty good, but let's get to opening this up. Sorry for the background. A lot of times I do these on the floor so that way I can have as uncluttered of a background as possible, but I've been sewing and I totally left my pantry open. Yeah, it's been one of those kind of weeks, but I am excited. Ooh, I see a little spoiler. There is a hint of some, like, maybe it's a gingham print tissue paper or something. As always, I want to give you guys the first look. Ooh, sunflowers inside the box. Oh, that's pretty. And haha. Ooh, and it's very squishy. Okay, I am excited. Let's see. When I get the newsletter, I don't read it too carefully yet because I want to get a sense of the theme. It's when we start working together that the real healing takes place. David Hume. And it looks like, they've partnered with 2 grassroots family-owned and operated farms and mills to offer you products that may lend an ounce or 2 of healing benefits, literally and metaphorically. Oh, this is cool. This is really, really cool. Okay, I will look into this a little more, and then we'll talk about the different farms that they've partnered with for this. That's really, really awesome. I have noticed that they've started featuring some more small businesses. I mean, I think they already carry stuff from small businesses, but I know that a lot of like small brick and mortar stores have been partnering with a lot of dyers and smaller farms and people that usually depend on festivals for a lot of their revenue. And so I think that it's great the way that the fiber community has been coming together. Read the back. Dang, man, I'm having a big month this month. That is so sweet. They are so, so kind to me. It looks like there is going to be a dyeing project in here, which I haven't seen any spoilers, so I didn't know about, but I'm definitely going to have to try to do that really, really soon. And they gave me a shout out. Oh my gosh. So what have I been sewing? I've been sewing masks, and then I'm making some pillowcases that I've been putting off forever. But all right, let's open up the box and see what's inside. Oh, Christine, thank you so much for the super chat, and I love that happy little fox sticker. Thank you so much. Oh, pretty. Oh my gosh. Okay, so we've got in with the sunflower. We've got a little Ooh, it's natural lanolin. So it's 1 ounce of lanolin from Sestari Sheep and Wool Company from Augusta Springs, Virginia. And it is not in focus at all. Can I focus on it? Nope. Not really. Sorry. But their website is sestarisheep.com. I don't know if I've ever used 100% lanolin. I've definitely used, like, when I first had a kid, I definitely had like stuff that had a lot of lanolin in it, but that's cool. Okay, let's see what else we've got in here. There's a little gingham bag. Oh, look at the fiber. Uh-oh. Oh, it's tied. I was like, why can't I open it? All right, we've got some, so we've got some honey lavender stress relief tea. Hello, hello. We've got, what's this? Oh, I bet that this is going to be the turmeric. I'm not going to open this. I was like, ooh, is it going to be lip balm? And then I realized it's a powder. This is probably the turmeric. And then, and so we've got a little stitch marker / progress keeper that has this cute little stone heart. Lanolin is awesome for dry skin. Yeah, I think that I've been doing a lot of Aquaphor, which, I mean, lanolin would work just as well. A lot of Aquaphor mixed with like a hand lotion to add some like moisture in addition and make it less greasy. Okay, so we've got, wow, this is soft. Look at this. This is a lot. I have no idea how many ounces this is. Is it, I'm trying to guess how thin. Okay, so it's like, I don't know if you would call this pencil roving. Let's go see and see what they say. Okay, so in this box, no, I didn't lose it. I was like, what did I do? Okay, so in this box, we've got 6 ounces of the Mountain Meadow USA Cormo Wool Combed Top. And it looks like the sections are fairly like it. I guess I haven't ever used like pencil roving, but it's thinner, so it would be really, really, really easy to draft. I think that it would, yeah, this is like super, super soft. Okay, so then we've got 2 ounces of the Sestari Pure USA lanolin in the white jar. We've got a handmade Healing Heart sticker. It's a gemstone stitch marker. We've got a tablespoon of raw organic turmeric powder in the purple jar. And then we've got the honey lavender stress release leaf tea. And so there's a note that I was expecting given last month. We are sorry to inform you that Eunice, our sheep logo, will not be making a decorative appearance as the sticker in this month's box, as she is helping with spring shearing on the farm. That is very, very kind. And I'm very impressed that you guys were still able to put together, in case Paradise Fibers is watching this replay later, I'm very impressed you were able to put together such a beautiful box when I know that everything has been disrupted. As always, fiber clubs get 10% off all full price fiber purchases. And the way things typically work is that if they release, usually if they release a new colorway or blend, it's available to fiber club members first. So it usually will come up on the website at the end of the month. But as a fiber club member, you can call or email. I'm not sure how things are working right now, but you can call and you can get it with your discount in advance of when it becomes like publicly available on their site, which is really, really awesome. So this box is $34.99 that includes shipping within the continental US. There are other options that are slightly more expensive for Alaska, Hawaii, Canada, and the UK and the European Union. If you live outside of those areas, just reach out to them and ask, and they'll try to, I think, make it work if they can. And it's really awesome. So there's always 6 to 8 ounces of fiber, and this is, oh dear, this is scrumptious. Like this is, there's always 6 to 8 ounces of fiber, but this is so fluffy. I'm wondering if I want, what do I want to do? What do I want to do? I have to decide. Clearly, I need to do a turmeric dyeing video, and I'm going to flip this over and see what they said about me, which is super, super kind. So I don't always read the whole newsletter on the live streams, but I just want to read the beginning. Okay, let's face it. It's been a rough go with everything that's going on in the world, to say the least. Our world has been disrupted in a way many of us have never seen. We dream of better days filled with adventures, loved ones, and new experiences, but these simple concepts seem to be out of reach most days. We have our craft, sure, and for those fortunate enough, a furry friend or housemate or two to occupy our minds and stave off the overwhelming feeling of uncertainty and anxiety. Some of us can still travel or are finding creative ways to keep busy. Some of us live in peaceful areas where we can step outside and enter a world that somehow seems different and more calming. The chaos has taken our routines hostage, and it is now our mission to find peace amidst the storm, to hold on to a brighter future and ply the strands of hope, community, and truth together to one day soon to make that future a reality one step at a time. You don't get a four-ply crepe yarn by simply looking at the pile of fluff expecting it to spin itself, right? One thing remains true throughout this pandemic: the monumental ability created within all of us to come together in times of discord, to support one another in defeating all invisible enemies, which is why this way we are focusing on the power of people banding together to do just that. We've partnered with 2 grassroots family-owned and operated farms mills to offer you products that may lend an ounce or 2 of healing benefits, literally and metaphorically. We are fortunate enough to have the opportunity to offer these USA brands to you, and by doing so, you become a valuable component of what makes this country so beautiful. So the Sestari Sheep and Wool Company is from Virginia, and the Mountain Meadows Woolen Mill in Colorado is here. And so, yeah, so I guess let's all come together and heal in any way we can, big or small. We hope our mailbox helps you do just that, and we're looking forward to seeing what contents inspire you to create. Make a soothing cup of tea, or try dyeing with turmeric recipe. Heal your hardworking hands with pure lanolin, or restore your favorite woolens, and unwind with a beautiful breed of wool to produce a lofty and springy yarn. Let's make, this is beautiful. And there's a hashtag make to heal, I think, to share on social media, and that is beautiful. So, oh wait, well, it said Colorado, but over here it says maybe Mountain Meadow Wool is from Buffalo, Wyoming. Their mission is to revitalize the American wool industry and preserve the West by creating American-made high-quality products through eco-friendly operations and fair prices for ranchers. And there's some more information about them here. So the Cormo is an Australian breed of sheep first developed in Tasmania by crossing Corriedale with the superfine Saxon Merino ewes in the early 1960s. I hadn't heard of this before, but this is super, super soft. The name Cormo is derived from the names of the two parent breeds, Corriedale and Merino. So that's pretty cool. The Sestari Sheep and Wool Company is from Virginia. So they get the lanolin after shearing the sheep. The fleeces are taken to their scouring plant and they're put in hot water. The heat converts solid lanolin into a liquid form. As lanolin is an oil, it rises to the top of the water and it gets scooped out and placed in huge 55-gallon drums. And then it solidifies as it's cooled off. And so it talks a little bit more about the process and how they like filter the dirt out and how they make this up. And and it looks like on Paradise Fiber's blog, there's a tutorial for relanolizing your woolens. And then there is a little tutorial here for dyeing yarn with turmeric. And this is where I guess I got a little shout out. I haven't specifically dyed with turmeric. I have dyed with natural food colorings that probably contain turmeric. So I've technically done it, but I just needed to go buy some so I could do it. And this should give a lot of color. And just look at this picture right there. That is so sunny and cheerful and actually goes so well with the sunflowers on the package. Okay, so while the fiber is beautiful in its natural state, adding a bit of color naturally can be a rewarding experience with stunning results. Turmeric is our featured natural dye this month, known for its anti-inflammatory and antioxidant properties. The powder has a warm aroma and produces a rich burnt yellow shade. You only need a few supplies to get started dyeing. Follow these steps to produce a gradient roving that goes from white to yellow. For even more dyeing tutorials to get you through quarantine, visit Rebecca at ChemKnits Tutorials on YouTube. Rebecca's dyeing tutorials are creative, informative, and fun. Her passion for ingenuity and her infectiously positive personality will lift your spirits, and you will learn so many different ways to transform your fiber, including dyeing with avocado, onions, Skittles, and more. That's so sweet. That's so sweet. And yeah, you don't need a mordant for dyeing with turmeric. If you ever cook with this, it stains like crazy. So it is a really, really good candidate. And I think you just need, they recommend using gloves. For more yellow color, add tin crystals. I'm not sure what that is, but that does sound like a mordant. But yeah, this sounds really, really fun. It doesn't look like you need, it doesn't look like you need any vinegar or anything, but this is cool. Traditionally, I didn't know this. So I guess when you dye with turmeric, traditionally the wool is also soaked in sea salt water for 5 minutes after dyeing. That's cool. That's really cool. So this is a beautiful box. This is a very beautiful box, and I love the theme and the message here. It's not full of puns like we often might see, but I think that a lot of companies, especially those who send out subscription boxes, are being really creative right now. And this fiber is stunning. Like, it is so soft and fluffy that I'm a little nervous to dye it. I'm not sure if I'll dye this one, or maybe, oh dear, I guess I'm inclined to dye this one, or if I'll dye another one that has come in one of my Paradise Fiber boxes, or maybe I'll just dye like a portion of one. But I can attest to the technique of winding roving into a ball to dye it to get a gradient works beautifully. And that is something that I've done with I don't know if I did it with food coloring or with acid dyes, but it's beautiful and really, really fun. Let me see if there's any questions because I did a bit more reading. Yes, it does look like Christmas. It looks like snow. Oh, yeah. Well, the replay will be up if you missed part of the live stream. Your plan is to dye and apply 2 singles, one with turmeric and the other with solar dyed hibiscus tea. Ooh, that sounds really cool. I'd imagine that the hibiscus tea might give you a beautiful, like warm brown kind of tone. I don't think I've dyed with hibiscus tea specifically, but I've dyed with a lot of other fruit teas that start off looking rather pink, but it does fade to a brown, but it's much warmer in tone. Like it's a very pinkish kind of brown, if that makes sense. I've actually been collecting lots of natural dyes, and I actually have, so I have a box upstairs of like videos they want to film, and in one of those boxes there is actually another dyeing project from Paradise Fibers that I was saving for when it got warm enough so I could do things outside. And so actually I forget if it's one that I need to use a mordant with, and so maybe I should get that set up in my cool vat mordanting process. So these days, if I'm using a mordant, I like to set everything up in a dedicated dye pot. I do all this outside, but I dissolve some aluminum sulfate in some water and then add the fiber and let it sit for a couple days. And then I rinse the fiber, which is something that I did not necessarily do last summer, but I rinse the fiber and then dye with it, and it's been great. And I haven't started editing the videos that I've done so far, but there's some really good results. Yes, so to wind the roving into a ball, I would just, literally wind it into a ball like you would yarn. And I am going to make a total mess out of this, and I don't want to do that. Because this is beautiful fiber. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Retwist, retwist, retwist. Yeah, so I believe in the video that, I'll try to remember to link. It's definitely in the Dye Pot Weekly series, but I took the roving and I just did a very, very loose ball, just like you would, just like you might with yarn. If you didn't receive your April box, I would reach out to the Paradise Fibers customer service team directly. I'm not sure if they can answer the phone right now, but I'm sure that they have someone checking email. So my affiliation with the company is that of an affiliate marketer. So they send me product for free that I share, and I do have an affiliate link, but I don't have any role in the actual like shipping process or anything like that. Any tips on where to find Kool-Aid packets? You can't seem to find them at your local Walmart and you don't want to order in bulk from Amazon. So I have a Stop and Shop near me that has Kool-Aid packets, and I haven't been to the grocery store in probably 2 months, so I haven't checked in a while. I had a big stash here. In the past, I've ordered from eBay, which is not as cheap. It's hit or miss what stores will carry. But Star Market usually has a couple flavors. Those are all very New England brands, but I think that like Kroger and Publix, some of those other big chain grocery stores often will have some, but it really depends on your area, how many flavors they stock. I find that most supermarkets might have cherry, grape, maybe orange, and maybe one of the other flavors. You're much more likely to find, oh gosh, where are they? You're much more likely to be able to find these kinds of tubs online or in a supermarket, and I actually don't necessarily recommend these. These mixes that have the sugar already in them are mostly sugar, and therefore the pigment is really diluted. So one little packet of Kool-Aid is less than a tablespoon, and an equivalent amount of drink mix is 8 heaping tablespoons from here, of which there's only, I guess 4. This is equivalent of 4 packets. So, and is more expensive. So, yeah, at first I was like, "Ooh, yay, more pigment." Yeah, no. So I hope that helps. Oh yes, and if you're waiting for a shipment, if you happen to be overseas, there are definitely there have been slowdowns in international shipping in terms of like how parcels are going and what countries are accepting packages. And so, yeah, it's still worth reaching out to Paradise Fibers, especially if they can check tracking. You want to learn how to dye wool and yarn? Yes, it is so fun and easy. And especially if you're spinning art yarns, then like you can have like a little more fun and take a little more like risk. I have never completely felted any roving that I've dyed myself. I've definitely been very afraid of it, but I've not yet had that happen. I do tend to be very careful with roving. One thing that is really helpful is I have a spin dryer, and that really helps keep your roving fluffy after it dries, because when you have the fiber wet, it sort of compresses. And that's where, you don't want to rub it or anything because there could be the felting risk. But if you spin the water out of it when it's drying, then there can be a little more air in there. And so it doesn't get as compressed when it dries, which I think is really handy. And sorry, bedtime is happening upstairs right now. Oh yes, and so when, gosh, I guess it was about a year ago that Paradise Fibers also gave me a surprise shout out. They had a Wizard of Oz themed box, and Somewhere Over the Rainbow, and they included Skittles, because taste the rainbow, and had a little dyeing project in there. And even though as far as candy goes, and I love dyeing yarn with candy, I don't necessarily recommend with Skittles because they have wax. But if you remove them once you get the color off of the outside edge, then the washing isn't as frustrating. But I do like dyeing yarn with candy. I recommend like chalky ones, like Conversation Hearts and stuff. But in general, things that require more washing, I'm more likely to do on yarn versus roving. But I had fun filming that project, a lot of fun, but I was very nervous. And so they featured me in that box, which was very kind. They're really nice. I really like them, and yeah. Do I ever dye acrylic yarn? Occasionally. I would say maybe like 2 videos very specifically and intentionally dyeing acrylic. If you search my channel for Rit Dye More Synthetic, you can find some of those acrylic dyeing videos. One of them was one where I used way too much dye. It was the first time I tried it. And with Rit dyes, the bottles give recommendations because if you want to dye like a garment a solid color, you want a lot of excess dye present, which isn't necessarily what you want when you're dyeing yarn. So that is something to keep in mind. But I did a more recent video where I tried, I think, 3 different techniques for dyeing acrylic yarn, and it worked pretty well, and I was really happy, and learned a lot in the process. On those first videos of mine that you saw. I guess there was one other video I did with acrylic, and it used like paint. I don't recommend that. Is there any difference dyeing yarn with merino, silk, angora, and mohair mixed together? Yes. So in general, different fibers can take more or less time to absorb dye. So in general, wool, and then especially superwash wool will bind dyes the fastest. Then comes wool. Silk and alpaca and angora, they all take a little bit more time, maybe a little bit more time with heat and maybe a little more acid. So it can be a little bit slower. So in those types of fiber types, it might be really hard to get sharp speckles because if the dyes are striking slower, that gives the dye time to spread out a little bit more. But you can still get really fun and awesome results. So I would say that the best advice is to be a little more patient. I don't think that it matters that if it's a blend of all 4 of those fibers, that shouldn't matter. You would see that the different fibers within that blend will take up dye differently. And so you might get like a heathered appearance, which would be cool. But yeah, whenever I dye alpaca, I always am like, oh, right, this takes a long time to absorb the fiber or to absorb the dye. And yeah, it's fun. I mean, I've dyed, I think I have like there's like a merino silk alpaca one that I've dyed a few times or something that is gorgeous. But yeah, it's just, occasionally I'm like, oh, right, this is going to take longer. I do have a whole alpaca video where I do some wool versus alpaca comparisons that came out sometime this year in the Dye Pot PS series that could be worth looking at. It doesn't help with the actual type of blend that we're talking about, but yeah. Oh, bedtime. So you watch my latest Dye Pot Weekly. Yeah, so in my video that came out, wait, is today Tuesday? Is that today? Oh man. In today's video, I did dye some t-shirt yarn for the very first time. It is 98% cotton, 2% elastane, and yeah, it was really fun. And I tie-dyed it sort of almost like I would tie-dye a t-shirt, and I actually put it through my washing machine. I used a mesh bag, and I had a ton of tight zip ties on it. A ton. And it turned out well. Oh, good. I hope that was helpful. I mean, I clearly love dyeing yarn, and I love playing with fiber, and I love all the if I can say something about Paradise Fibers and this Fiber of the Month Club, I love Serena. Yay! Oh, you need to watch it. It is, I don't know if the yarn's arrived yet because I think I just shipped it. But it's fun. I had so much fun. And so thank you for sponsoring that video. I think the thing that I love about Paradise Fibers is that it really feels like they put intent and care into the boxes that they send. And whether it's to make you smile or laugh, or they get goofy, or sometimes they're supporting a cause. And it's just really, it's really apparent that the people who are assembling this box have a lot of fun with it and have a lot of creativity. And so it's something that I always enjoy unboxing because, I never know what's going to be in there. And sometimes I'm really surprised. And like today, I didn't get a heads up, and I will be messaging them right after to give them a big thank you, because that was very, very kind of them to reach out to me. I believe I do have a whole playlist. I think there's a playlist of roving dyeing videos, so you can see a lot of my techniques and experimentation. If you're watching this video and this is the first ChemKnits video you've ever seen, part of my approach to dyeing yarn and fiber is to try things for the first time on camera, so that way you can see where I might struggle, or where we have happy accidents, or where we have big mistakes that we want to push aside and not try again. And so I hope that is helpful. Oh, yeah, gosh, what? I'm trying to remember. I have lost track of what videos have been recent lately. This past weekend, I actually left my home for the first time in months because I went to go babysit my best friend's children because she was having a baby. And with everything, her parents couldn't travel. I'm also a really good friend. We're all just really good friends. And so, yeah. And I got back late home, on Sunday now to re-isolate myself, for a period of time. But I'm a bit disoriented after that, because it was such a break from the routine of everything that, yeah, it's coming back. I'm like, oh, I literally had yarn in a cooled dye pot that needed to be washed, just still waiting. And I was like, oh, this is what happens when you wake up and you go. But yeah, so that was a wonderful blessing. And the like happy, like, well, it was expected, but the happy, like, emergency that like took place that took me away from things for a little bit. So, yeah, because the rain, oh, because yes, okay, I had to think back because like 200 was the rainbow self-striping, and then I played with fiber reactive dyes in Friday's video. Okay, I had to reorient myself to my own videos. Oh goodness. Oh. And then I've been collecting flowers. I got marigold seeds that I hope to plant and then save petals all season. And I was collecting my cherry tree. It's about done blooming, so I was collecting petals from the cherry tree. We'll see if we get any pigment. And my lilacs are blooming, and so I plan to be picking those, even though I'm pretty sure I'm allergic to the lilacs. But I'll be able to get through it. But it's just all of this pollen is oh gosh. I hope you're doing better, Dawn. Oh goodness. I'm glad that you're out of the ICU. Oh man. Oh, thank you, Christine. Yeah. Oh man, this, I have to say, this is so soft. So I have to decide if I want to dye this. Maybe I'll dye a portion of this, because I also, since I haven't tried turmeric before, maybe I should also do some yarn. So maybe I should do like a portion of the roving. Maybe I'll do like 2 ounces of it. Because what does it say? So you want to cook, you want 3 layers of water per 4 ounces of wool. Cool. Well, maybe we'll do the whole thing. I don't know. Maybe we'll just also throw in some yarn in there just to see what happens. I do have large dye pots. Kind of see, this little pot makes me think of, oh, it's got the thingy. I'm excited. I've been wanting to do this for ages, and so it's nice when this is actually, turmeric has been really requested as well. And I believe this isn't, yeah, I don't think this is superwash. I think that this is just beautiful, fluffy wool. And if I'm going to do the gradient that they suggest in here, I will demonstrate how I'm going to wind it up into the little ball. But I think maybe I'll do something a bit smaller scale. When I do something for the first time, I like to do something small scale as a test. And then scale up, because what I don't know is how much washing is required at the end. So I don't know if it would exhaust. I have no idea. But oh, thank you. You're knitting some socks. That was a tonal sky blue from some yarn that I mixed. Oh, sorry. So, oh, you missed where the wool is from? Okay, of course. So this is Mountain Meadow wool, and it's unclear to me if it's from Colorado or Wyoming, because it says Colorado in the text and then Wyoming on the back. But so it's a US based company, and it's a family operated mill, and they support local ranchers and raise awareness about the ranching culture in the American West is part of the mission statement. And I don't think I have a URL, but I'm sure if you search for Mountain Meadow USA, it's their Cormo wool combed top. And yeah, I think it's awesome that Paradise Fibers like sort of probably reached out and put this together with the help of 2 like USA based small family run businesses, which I think is awesome. Let's see. What is the roving made from? You're just preparing for dyeing. It's combed top. There could be some lanolin in it. still, but it's been cleaned. So I definitely wouldn't call it raw wool. So it's combed top. It smells lovely. And yeah, I mean, they don't recommend scouring it in the tutorial that they shared. Would it be bad to use an old nonstick pan for dyeing? Ideally, I would say you would want something stainless steel, but I mean, I use like, you know, when I'm doing food safe dyes, I use like whatever pots I have on hand. A nonstick shouldn't necessarily react with anything. But some types of pots could conceivably react especially if you're using like a mordant or something. How do you dye from cherry blossoms? Great question. I have not tried that yet. I have collected tubs and I'm planning on dyeing a total of 40 grams of yarn. So I think that in all likelihood, to get what's probably going to be a fairly pastel brown is my hypothesis. And I'm going to have like hundreds of grams of petals or more. Like I've got handfuls and handfuls and handfuls of these petals. And I will be doing a mordant versus no mordant kind of experiment to see what kind of hues we get. It's more like I tested so it's such a baby pink in the petals, but I let some dry and the color deepened. And so I'm like, okay, there is some pigment in here. So we'll see if I can extract anything from it. And so basically, a lot of natural dyeing is almost like making a very concentrated or like a really oddly smelling tea. So I will be eventually put the petals in a mesh bag and then put it in boiling water for probably around an hour. See what kind of pigment is coming out into the water, and then either if it's not a ton of pigment, I might leave the bag in, but then I'll add the fiber or yarn to the pot and, you know, heat for a while and then let it sit for a couple days. And that's, I guess, the overall general protocol that I've done. But there are I'm a very novice natural dyer. And so right now I'm pretty much limited to like, okay, let's see what can happen. But I'm trying to look around my garden and my home to see what I might have. Other things coming up are forsythia blossoms, those little yellow flowers, and dandelions. And I was able to harvest huge quantities of both. And so I think that that's one thing that is key. You do need a lot of petals if you want to dye yarn. But I think that one thing, like my plan with marigolds, is to harvest, you know, the blossoms as they start to get a little old, save them, and, you know, make a collection for who knows how long. Yep. Oh man. So yeah, I hope that this is all helpful. I'll be honest, I'm exhausted. Make a dry stock. Yeah. So, with the forsythia, it ended up that I dried, not intentionally necessarily, but I dried the flowers before dyeing it, and that worked so well. The dandelions didn't dry out. Those I did a lot faster after the harvest, and it wasn't as easy. I liked having the dried petals. That was a lot easier for me to deal with, for me to weigh and keep track of. The dandelions were so heavy I couldn't even weigh them. I like went to a field and I spent like an hour and a half just like plucking blossoms. And only one person asked me what I was doing. And yeah. But it was really fun. So anyway, I hope that you enjoyed this little look into the May 2020 Paradise Fibers Fiber of the Month Club box. Again, my affiliate link is in the video description if you want to go check it out. They seem like a really, really kind and like really creative company, and I am so thankful that they send these to me every month, and I truly enjoy it. I think it's also a good mix for someone who is new to spinning, because you get so many different types of dyed yarn, blended yarn. You get like different types of fiber, and it's a really good way to play around with different fiber types and see what you like. And in their Ravelry group and on their blog, they often give recommendations for different things you can do. Sometimes they include patterns in here, and yeah, it's a lot of fun. I think over the last almost 2 years, I think my first box was July 2018, I believe. We've had like Firestar included in boxes. We've had Harry Potter and Star Wars themed boxes. There was a Lord of the Rings one. We've had like coral, like living coral, because that was the Pantone color. We've had, so like tropical themed. We've just, they pull from so many different things, like spooky Halloween ones, very wintry ones for around the holiday. It's been a lot of fun, and the fibers are all just stunning. So, well, I mean, I would hope that you would expect that from a company that calls themselves Paradise Fibers. But anyway, yeah, I hope that you guys enjoyed this, and I am very humbled and thankful for the shout out in here. Yeah, there's been so much just uncertainty with how everything is going, and so I just want to end with, on these streams I've been trying to do my like social distancing hugs from me to you, because I know that like if there's ever a time where I'm ever able to do like a meetup or anything like that, I tend to be a hugger as a person. And I think that like the hardest thing for me, one of the hardest things for me through all of this is being so close in proximity to so many people that I love, but not being able to hug them when they're struggling. And I think vice versa. And so like I live really close to my parents, and I haven't seen them in months. And that's all really, really hard. And so I know that I know that there's so many struggles right now. And so I just hope that I can, through my content, provide some smiles and a little bit of an escape from things. And so I really, really, truly wish all of you health, and sending love in the best way that I can. And so I think that the message of this box, with this like coming together and like supporting one another, is just a really, really lovely one, because I mean, I'm sure other communities, artistic communities are doing this as well, but the way that the fiber community has come together with some like, virtual festivals and ways to support one another, because there's so many dyers, like indie dyers I don't do like if I go to a festival, I'm there as a customer. I don't dye enough yarn to like have a stall or booth anywhere, but people who do that, like there's some people who don't really have an online presence, and so it is really, really difficult. But I know so many local yarn shops who are adding more. They're like, hey, if you're a dyer and you have extra stock because you can't go to a show, like let's try to like help. We'll try to help you. And it's just been a really wonderful thing to see. So anyway, I am babbling. Oh man, but yeah. Oh, I thought I like couldn't tell if I saw like another question. Trying to think. Oh, subscribe, please. Turn on notifications, and yeah, I hope that you guys are all yeah, wishing health and sending love. I hope you guys are all doing well so much. And yeah, I will probably have a couple other unboxings this month, so make sure your notifications are on. And oh, I'm having a live stream on Saturday morning at 9:30 a.m. Eastern time. I will be doing the May 2020 ChemKnits Dialogue live stream. And the inspiration is also one of love. And you can go see that, I guess, by going to my channel page. You can see what the inspiration photo is going to be this month. So I recommend that you go check that out, and I will chat with all of you soon. Bye, everyone. Oh, oh, I see. And okay, I see someone says, I believe Mountain Meadows wool is definitely from Wyoming. Wyoming, maybe the mill was in Colorado. Okay. So maybe that was just a maybe it was just a mistake. In the caps for those tend to be about ideally 3 weeks later, but usually end up being like 4 to 5 weeks later. All right, guys. I will catch you soon. Bye.